Hello everyone and welcome to another video. It's an exciting one this week, or at least I think so, because I'm excited about this situation. I have my journal system update video for you. I wanted to wait a few weeks to make this after starting this new notebook, just to get a feel for it and maybe give a semi-review of the notebook at the same time as this system update situation. And I've now been in this for, let me check, when was my first entry in here? Yeah, pretty much since the first week of May. So to start with the most obvious information here, what are these notebooks that I am using? This is the Planner Monkey Co. Freely Noted in A5. Technically it started life as a Freely Planned, which is the same as the Freely Noted, which is just grid paper for many hundreds of pages. So it's the same as that, except it also has blank monthly calendars in the beginning. But I knew I didn't want to use the calendars. I only got the Freely Planned because at the time the Freely Noted was out of stock, so I had to compromise. So yeah, I basically just removed the monthly pages. So it is in effect now a Freely Noted. So yeah, that's the main notebook, and then the little supplementary memo pad here is just the Hobonichi memo pad A5, my old favourite. I just finished using one of these as a journal, just like a normal journal. My last video was kind of flipping through that, and I do love these notebooks. So yeah, two things going on here, Freely Noted and Hobonichi memo pad. Before I talk about how I'm using them, I thought I'd talk a bit about what I now look for in a journaling situation to kind of explain why I chose the notebooks I did. I have been journaling since I was 10. I have tried a lot of notebooks. I've tried a lot of styles. I've tried bullet journaling. I've tried using a very structured book with already set up monthly calendars and weekly spreads and daily pages. I've tried lined notebooks. I've tried dot grid notebooks. I've tried now square grid notebooks. I have tried almost everything. I even had a brief traveler's notebook phase a few years ago. I think the only thing I haven't really tried is rings. They've just never appealed to me, to be honest. Something about the idea of rings just, I don't know, I get a weird sensory ick from it. I don't know what it is. I can't explain it, but I just know rings is not for me. So that's the only thing I haven't tried. I've also tried a lot of notebook sizes over the years, from A5, A6, B6, a slim Weeks style notebook, pocket notebooks. I've truly tried it all. And after those many years, I've kind of finally come to some conclusions about what does and doesn't work for me based on just my preferences, my writing style, and also just my neurodivergent brain that influences things too. That kind of means I now have some criteria that I look for in a notebook and also just in a journaling setup. One thing is I am an A5 girly. I cannot go smaller than an A5. I have big handwriting and I have a lot to say. So A5 is just the one for me. Anything smaller and I feel I'm squishing my letters in, I just feel constrained. A5, we go together, perfect. I also like bound books. As mentioned, rings are not for me. Love a bound book. I kind of prefer soft cover to hardcover. Something about it just feels nicer to write on for me. And I like a grid. I find grids easiest to work with when I'm trying to count out my spaces and measure things and draw lines and whatnot. Grids are the thing that just my brain works best with. That's very vague and I can't explain it. I just like grids. What can I say? I also have learned that I like the freedom to create my own spreads. So I don't like using books with things already set up. So ultimately, as much as I love many aspects of the Hobonichi Cousin, its paper, its general aesthetic, its size, I don't like the fact that you're constrained to one daily page a day and you're constrained to a vertical weekly and a monthly calendar in that particular setup. I don't like that. I like to be able to set everything up myself in the best way for me that particular day, because truly the setup that feels best for me on a page by page basis can change from day to day. And I like to have that flexibility. I like to have the option to write 3 pages on one day and 3 lines on another and not have a big blank daily page, right? I like to be able to experiment with different fonts for headings, and if all of the dates and days of the week and stuff are already there, I can't do that. Basically, I like to just have the freedom to be a bit chaotic. and try lots of different things and set my pages up however I want. So I'll probably just go for notebooks in the future rather than planners because of that. Related to like planning and planners, I've also learned that I like keeping that digital. So I use my Apple Calendar to basically just like plan my life and keep track of all my tasks now. I find that works best for me because it's very easy to create like a recurring calendar task for a task that you need to do like every day or every week. Whereas if you keep track of everything in a journal, you have to write it out every single week and it's just a pain. And I want something that's easy. And for me, that's digital because it's super quick to create recurring things. It's always accessible, like on my phone or my laptop or whatever technology I'm using that day. I can set reminders on my phone, link to the calendar. Like I really need that to keep track of what I'm supposed to be doing at any given moment. So yeah, planning is now digital. Don't need to worry about that in my notebooks, which is nice. Now, a slightly like hard to explain thing, I guess, for me at least, is I really like having a big chunky single book to keep track of my life, like have a big book of everything. And that was what I was doing for years, probably from age 10 until like literally 27. I just had one notebook and I tried having multiple. I just find it very difficult to keep on top of multiple books on like a regular basis. I know I've got two here. I will explain that in a bit. But, and here's where like the slight strangeness comes in, I also get really bored if I'm using the same notebook for too long and don't have that feeling of like, wow, I finally finished a notebook. And obviously with big A5 books that are quite thick, it still takes me a while to get through them. So I'm kind of in this war between two sides of my brain, one of which is like, I want the big book of everything. And the other is like, no, I want a small book that I can fill really quickly. So I have the satisfaction of having filled a notebook. And I had to find a way to cope with that because if I'd have just stuck with one big book of everything, my like antsy, I need to finish things brain would have got bored and been like, no, we have to move to something else that's quicker to finish. And like, gotta get that satisfaction of finishing a notebook. But then if I'd have done that, my big book of everything brain would have been like, no, what are you doing? Stay in the book, finish the book. Doesn't matter how long it takes. Who cares about satisfaction? Like, do it. And it's just a lot, really, having your brain constantly arguing with itself about your notebooks. So I came up with a compromise. That's why I have my two notebooks, right? I've got this big book of everything, freely noted, which is just like my big archive. Almost everything goes in here. It's going to take me a while to fill. I accept that, and that is fine because I have my little memo book as a supplementary book, which I can get through much quicker and get that feeling of like, wow, I filled a whole notebook. Because these are really small. I think they're like 48 pages or something. And especially for what I'm using this for, which I'll get to in a minute, like I can fill that up probably within a month or two. So yeah, basically the reason I have two books is to stop my brain from tearing itself apart, which I feel is the constant story of my life in different ways. Just trying to find a way to get my brain to calm down and let me enjoy things. This is the way. I have very much been enjoying this. My brain has been remarkably quiet on the topic of journals, other than just to be like, yeah, cool, we like this, let's carry on. Yeah, so that's that. And to close like the what I look for in a journal section of this, I also really love to have a space where I don't need to worry about aesthetics. I don't need to worry about coming back and reading this in the future. I don't need to worry about basically anything except just scrolling notes down angrily and quickly. Basically, I need a notebook where I can just vent with no expectation of ever looking at it again and just get things out of my system because that's the way I process things. And I like that to be separate from my main book. I like these like main big archivey books to be things that I can look back on in the future and not have to read like 5 pages of me ranting about a single bad day. While I don't want to forget that that happened, I want to be able to like pick and choose when I encounter that. So I like to keep it separate in a book away from like the more general stuff that I might want to recap more often. Because like, as I'll talk about, this book has like loads of notes about important things in it that I want to remember. So I do intend to go back and review these frequently. And I don't want to have to like re-encounter all of my angriest rants at the same time. That is essentially what the memo book is for. It's the rant book. So yeah, that's what I look for in a notebook system. Now to talk about the actual notebooks on this desk. I kind of already have alluded to both of them and what I use them for, but we're going to talk about it again because why not? I'll talk about the memo book first because it's going to be very quick and I'm not going to show you anything inside it because, as mentioned, this little Hobonichi memo book is where I write all of my angry thoughts when bad things have happened, or like sad thoughts. Basically, this is the venting book where I just pick up a ballpoint pen and just like let my feelings out when I need to. And it's very cathartic. It helps me to process things. I tend to process things by writing about them. I can kind of put this away and almost like not hide it, but just like keep it aside and not carry it around with me all the time. And then when a bad day happens and I need it, I just grab it, have a rant, put it away, and I feel cleansed of whatever was bothering me. So that's what I use this for. It's been getting a lot of use these past few weeks. It's been a time. To be honest, that has just been 2024 so far, hasn't it? Like, I feel like in every one of these videos, I'm like, yeah, it's been a weird month. Because it has. Like, it has just been a weird year so far. So I've been doing a lot of writing in here and can confirm it's been very good for me. Really like having this little pocket of like, not solitude, what's the word I'm looking for? Solace. There we go. I find solace in this notebook because I know I can open it, get my feelings out, and then come away from it just refreshed and never look at that entry again if I don't want to. Because as I say, like, I don't plan on flipping through these ones regularly, like not like this one. So yeah, that's what this is. We're going to stop talking about it now so I can get onto the main book, and I'm just going to chuck it to the side. Wow, I'm feeling particularly awkward today. I don't know if you can tell. All right, freely noted. So it's beautiful. That's the first thing I've got to say. I love this like fake leather cover. I love the like embossed little plant here. I'm just in love with the aesthetics of this book. I chose it because basically I was just influenced. I'm not ashamed to admit I was influenced to buy this by two people. One is my friend Danny, who was talking to me about how great they are, and I was like, interesting. I'm in the market for a new notebook. Maybe I should check it out. And then I also was rewatching a load of old Theory of Lauren videos, and Lauren used to use freely noted books, and I was like, they're really pretty. Maybe I should give them a go. So yeah, basically based on that, I decided to have a look on the Planner Monkey Go website, just kind of have a browse. And it just so happened, I think at the time, there was a sale on, and I was like, oh, interesting. So basically, yeah, I bought this and decided to give it a go. And I'm really glad I did. Thank you for influencing me, Danny and Lauren, if you're watching. Much appreciated, because I'm in love with this notebook. It's Tombow River paper, which is another non-negotiable for me. Probably should have mentioned that at the start. I love this stuff. I just feel like I can never write on any other paper again. Like, it's just beautiful. So soft, so creamy, just wonderful. It's got this fake leather cover, like soft cover, which I really love. It feels both like protective and flexible, which I really like. And yeah, it's just plain grid pages. The grid size, I think, is a little bit bigger than the Hobonichi grid size. I haven't looked at the specific measurements, but it feels just a tiny bit bigger, which I like because, as mentioned, big handwriting. So yeah, quite like having a bigger grid to work with there. And this is gonna be just like my everything book, apart from like the super emotional moments for the memo book. But yeah, other than that, this is everything. It's my daily journal, and I have been writing in it daily for a good few days now, which is quite something. I'd really struggled to like get into an actual daily habit of journaling until I got this book, and I think that's a sign of how well it's working for me, is that I truly feel compelled to pick this up every single day and have so much fun in it. So yeah, use it for that. Use it for taking notes on like stuff I'm reading or videos I'm watching. Use it as a commonplace book occasionally if there are quotes I want to copy out, and it's going really great. I love how the paper feels with my fountain pens. I'm exclusively a fountain pen user, so paper that works well with fountain pens is super important to me. And this really does work very well. There's like no ghosting, no bleeding, like it's way better quality I found than the new Hobonichi paper, I've got to say. And yeah, I'm just having a wonderful old time. I'm going to do a full flip through probably next weekend because we'll be at the end of May by then, which is wild, by the way. How are we at the end of May? So yeah, I'll show all the pages then, but I'm just flicking through now just to give you a sense of what they look like, but also to see if I've forgotten anything I use the notebook for. I don't think I have. It is mostly just daily journaling, quotes and stuff. notes and stuff, and any other random musings that I want to put down here, like about Baldur's Gate 3, which I'm still playing and still loving, and the Northern Lights when they turned up here the other week, which was incredible. I'm sure I'll go on a massive rant about that next week, but for now, just know I was living my best life, taking photos of the aurora. Yeah, basically, this is now my big book of everything, and I'm in love with it, is the summary of this video. That is how you can sum up my experiences so far in the Planner Monkey Co. Freely Noted. And I'm really glad I'm enjoying it, because at the same time as buying this to use, there was a pre-order for a limited edition pink one, and I was like, I'm going for it, you know, like I'm going all in. I really hope I like this notebook because I really want the pink one. So I did buy the pink one. I've got it here. This is going to be my next journal after this one's finished, and it also just feels beautiful quality. Like the colour is lovely. Love this like cherry blossom pink, and just look at all those pages waiting to be filled, and those vinyls I'm going to stick on. That one's also from Planner Monkey Co. And this is the Coffee Monsters code that came in the subscription this month, the Pen Pals. Love that. So yeah, basically I am fully converted to the cause of the Freely Noted. I think it's a beautifully made book. It's so high quality. The paper is just a dream. And I feel like it's really reignited my spark for like daily journaling and loving just getting my thoughts on paper. I've been so consciously making time to spend in this every single day, and I think it's because this just feels like the perfect system for me, like so much flexibility, such a beautifully made notebook. Yeah, I'm just really happy. I know that's not a particularly deep insight and probably not the most thorough review of a notebook ever, but you know, what more do you need to know other than this makes me very happy and it's very high quality. Like truly, that's all you can really ask for in a notebook. Yeah. So that is my system these days. This single book for almost everything, and then a little memo book on the side for the bad days. I'm feeling quietly confident about it. I don't want to jinx it by saying like, this is it for me. This is like never going to change, because I mean, how many times have I said that already on this channel, which I started literally like 6 months ago. No, more than that. Nearly 9 months ago. Wow. Time is a mystery. Anyway, yeah, I'm not going to say this is never going to change, because you never know. But right now, I'm very happy with it. And I can't wait to show you the pages in more detail next week and to keep on showing you my progress in it. Now, to close, I'm going to flip back here to my pencil board, because you might be wondering what on earth's going on here. This is a Hobonichi pencil board that I have stuck a piece of paper to. This was inspired by the wonderful Pumpkin, who is an Instagram mutual of mine and is sometimes in the comments here, so hi if you're watching, I appreciate you. It's basically a list of things that trigger like sensory overwhelm for me and things that soothe sensory overwhelm for me, because in a video a few weeks ago, maybe the last video, maybe the one before, I've been talking a lot about how sensory overwhelm has been a real problem for me lately. I just seem to be much less tolerant of assaults on my senses, and I wanted to do something about that, because it's not nice being in just like a constant state of sensory overload and having to wrap yourself in a duvet and lie in the dark for hours because like the supermarket was too much for you. Pumpkin was telling me about their like system for keeping track of triggers and things that soothe, and like just basically the idea of keeping track of it, to be honest, was like a mind blow to me, which it probably shouldn't have been, but never mind. So I made like my own little lists and stuck it to this pencil board so that I see it every single day. Because one thing about me is I am a very out of sight, out of mind person. So if I'd have written this like at the very beginning of this book, for example, I probably never would have looked at it again. Not in detail, or at least not as often as I should be, which is basically daily, to like get this into my brain. So I put it on the pencil board because I do look at this every single day, multiple times a day usually. And it's definitely helped me, I found, to be more mindful of like things that are triggering me and like ways to fix it. Like, to be honest, before I was pretty good at identifying what triggers sensory overwhelm for me, but I just never quite knew what to do about it other than lie in a dark room, which, to be fair, is still one of the main solutions. But having this here has reminded me that there are actually many options for me. And I do think that I'm coping better overall, actually. Obviously, as somebody who is autistic, and has like significant sensory issues. Sensory overwhelm is never going to go away for me. It's something that I'll just have to deal with for the rest of my life. But I feel more equipped to do that now. So thank you, Pumpkin, for telling me about this. And yeah, that's what's on my pencil board. Alrighty, that's where I'm going to leave it this week. I hope this was an interesting video. People always say in the comments that they like hearing the reasoning behind why I do certain things journaling wise. So hopefully this has provided a bit of an insight into one element of that, of like why I choose the notebooks I do. I'm really excited to keep on keeping on in here. And I'm just feeling very excited about journaling, which to be fair, I always have been, but like even more so now, which is great. Now that we're coming up to halfway through the year, which again, terrifying, what is the passage of time? I'd love to hear what everyone else's journaling system is looking like right now. Is it what you envisioned at the start of the year? What changes have you made? Have you managed to stick it out in the same system? Please let me know in the comments. I'm always interested to hear about what other people are doing. And yeah, other than that, I'll hopefully see you next weekend. I'm putting less pressure on myself to make a video every week right now because I'm still really busy and really stressed. But I'm hoping next weekend I can make my May flip through. If not, it'll be the weekend after. Maybe. Thinking about it, the weekend after I'm at the Eras tour. We'll see. We'll see when I'm here. We'll see when I'm not here. Like, I'm just going with the flow. All right, I'm going to wrap this up before I ramble on about anything else. Thank you for making it to the end of this video. I hope you're all doing well, sending you very good vibes, and I will see you when I see you.